Do you need fat tires on an e-bike? Stick around to find out. Hey everyone, I'm Dustin. I'm nearly 20 years experience in the bike and e-bike industry, and today we're gonna answer the question, do you need fat tires on your e-bike? Now, before we get into it, hit that subscribe button below. Stay in touch with us here at 630. Be the first to know about all the new content we're putting out, giveaways we're doing, and of course, new product releases. All right, I've got 3 e-bikes here, all linked in the description below. This is the Ride in the Park e-bike with the thinnest tires of the 3. These are 38C by 700. Then we have the simple step through here with a 26-inch by 2.125. Then right here, we've got the zip and fold with a 20-inch by 3-inch. Now, I'm seeing a lot of e-bikes on the road, period, and a good percentage of them are fat tire e-bikes. The zip and fold would be considered a fat tire. I would say anything above 3 inches wide up to 4 inches wide is a typical fat tire e-bike. Now, you're seeing a lot of 20-inch with that tire size. You also see 26-inch and 24-inch with the bigger tires. And I think a lot of that has been inspired from motorcycle design, because an electric bike is sort of an in-between a motorcycle, scooter, and bicycle, right? It's a bicycle with an assist on it. So a lot of companies have started to widen the tires on their e-bikes, basically marketing it or making it look sort of like a motorcycle. There's several brands out there doing it. But the question is do you really need fat tires? What's the benefit? Why would you or wouldn't you have a fat tire on your electric bike? Now, let me start off with the pros of fat tires on e-bikes. Number one, it's gonna be a soft, cushy ride. When you look at something with a 3-inch wide or 4-inch wide tire, it's gonna really absorb the vibration, the bumps, make it a softer ride on the rider. And there is some element of balancing to have a wider tire. You're gonna have better traction. You're also gonna have better balance. So as opposed to a thinner tire, only having maybe less than an inch width of a tire contacting the ground, you're gonna have, maybe 2.5 inches, because the full tire isn't necessarily gonna roll on the ground, right? You're gonna have the middle, so the edges aren't gonna be contacting the ground as the tire rolls. So something like this, maybe 2.5 inches on the ground, 4 inches, you're gonna get 3.5 inches of that tire contacting the pavement. So from a balance-ish standpoint, having more rubber on the road is a great thing. Now, my counter argument to that would be if you've learned to ride a bike and you can still balance, you'll be able to balance on this size tire and this size tire. I don't think it's going to fix your balance issue. If you can't balance, putting a fatter tire on there isn't gonna enable you to balance. A tricycle would be the product that would actually cure your balance issues. But you may be able to balance, or you will be able to balance somewhat easier, but again, it's not gonna miraculously make you be able to balance if you can't balance. So there's some benefits. I think the other major reason people choose the fat tire generally is because they like the aesthetic. A lot of times people like having the big, beefy, wide tire. Now, on the flip side of that, there's actually quite a few drawbacks to a fat tire. Number one, it's going to drain your battery much, much quicker. You can look at the width of this tire and the width of this tire, and you can just tell by staring at it, this tire is gonna be much heavier and much more drag on pavement than a thinner tire like this, which is inevitably just gonna mean that your motor's gonna have to work harder to propel this tire versus this tire. And this is just a 20-inch. Think about if this was a 26-inch, how much harder that motor would have to work to propel the tire. So it's definitely going to drain your battery quicker because the motor is going to work harder, especially if you're taking on hills. If you are taking on hills with a big, fat, wide tire, much more drag on the battery, meaning a quicker draining battery without a doubt. Now, in addition to that, if you have or want to ride your e-bike without the assist at all, an e-bike with a thinner tire is going to be much, much easier to pedal. A 20-inch like this, pedaling without the assistance is going to be very challenging. And actually, I just made a video on it showing you riding each of these 3 up a hill, and I demonstrated what it was like to do that. And on flat ground, for either 3 of these, it's gonna be fairly easy to pedal at a slow pace, right? So under 5 miles an hour, you won't notice the difference. But as you start to pick up the pace or wanna take on hills, it's gonna be very challenging on a fat tire e-bike, which means you're gonna be wanting to run the assist throughout your ride, almost of the entirety when you have a fat tire e-bike, and that just means draining the battery more quicker. Now, you may wanna run the assist on these all the time as well, that's totally fine, but just keep in mind, running the assist on a thinner tire versus a thicker tire means you'll get more length of the battery. Let me rephrase that. If you're running the pedal assist on all 3 of these on the same terrain, the battery will die quicker on this bike, then this bike, lastly this bike, and it's just because of the drag of the tires. So something to think about, that most likely you're gonna wanna have this e-bike always in some level of pedal assist. These 2 will be more conducive to riding without the pedal assist. So you have to think about the cost, how you're gonna ride your e-bike, how much do you really value the aesthetic of a fat tire or that shock absorption. Something like an in-between tire, like here on the simple step through, a 2.125, I think is a good medium between the 2. You still get the vibration absorption, the shock absorption, but you're not causing as much drag as with a fatter tire like this. And if you still plan to ride and pedal and you want something that's gonna feel like you're pedaling a bicycle but still have assist, something like this is gonna feel more natural. Something like this is more geared to be an e-bike with an assistance. So it's not really set up for you to be pedaling, like a standard bicycle. So that's my opinion on fat tires, and if you need them on your e-bike. If you have any other thoughts at all, please comment below or reach out to us, the team at 630.com, or call us 310-982-2877. If you want to check out all 3 of these e-bikes, they're linked in the description below. Or if you're in the market for an electric bike and you don't know what you're looking for, on our website, we have a proprietary quiz called the Body Fit Quiz. Answer a few questions about your body and your life, and we'll recommend the perfect e-bike for you. In addition to that, we have a 30-day test ride your e-bike policy. If you don't love it in 30 days, send it back, no questions asked, no money out of your pocket. And in addition, we're gonna warranty everything for the first year. Anything goes wrong in the first year, we'll take care of parts and labor to ensure you can keep riding. Lastly, we have a Facebook group called 630 Pedalers. There's thousands of members in there. Jump in there, ask questions before you buy so you can be comfortable purchasing. Then once you have your e-bike, post in the group, make friends. It's a lot of fun. Then you can also download our app, track your rides, and compete on the leaderboard. That is a lot of fun also. So thanks for sticking around, and don't forget, it's your journey or experience. Enjoy the ride.